Hi everybody, my name is Aviolo and I'm from the Bahamas. 2.5 years ago, I left my family behind and moved to the United States to attend college. I was born and raised in New Providence, Bahamas, which is home to the capital city of Nassau, a name you're probably more familiar with. Freshman year was the first time I ever lived in the United States, and the experience of transitioning from Bahamian culture to American culture was something that not many people know of. Once I tell people that I'm from the Bahamas, they're so intrigued by the idea that I live on an island or that I can go to the beach whenever I want, that they completely disregard the struggle I went through to assimilate myself into American culture. However, I'm not the only international student here, so I'm not the only one who's had to transition cultures. Thankfully, I was fortunate enough to meet 2 other international students my first year. I hope to provide you all with insights of how culture can differ when it comes to socializing with others.
So I was born in Zambia, and not in the capital city. I was actually born in Kapiri-Mposhi District Hospital.
So you came to UNCW just for school, this is your first time living in the US?
Yes. It's I guess just the main thing would be difference in traditions and culture. People here don't speak the same languages as Zambia, so it would be really more difficult to find people who maybe speak the longer languages of Zambia.
So I moved to Malaysia when I was 4 because of my dad's job. I lived there for 9 years. I went to an international school, so it was Malaysian. I was still in Malaysia, but it's more of an international feel than a local feel. And then I moved back to America for 2.5 years, and then I moved back to Malaysia for my last few years of high school. My experience is different because I'm not Malaysian, so I still adhere to my cultural traditions, but the people that I dated that were more traditional in their culture, so I dated a Korean person, and they definitely did ask my parents for permission, bring me out, whatever, and based on the culture of who I was dating, they would be more traditional or not traditional. But Malaysia in general is a very traditional place. It's very focused on their religion. Well, Malaysia has a ton of different religions in it, but the main religion of Islam is definitely prominent. So I'd say in the overall culture of Malaysia, it definitely was a lot more traditionally based than America. Because I've been drinking since I was 13. I don't recommend that, but because in Malaysia there was really no drinking age. There's a drinking age, but nobody follows it. So as long as, I always said, as long as you can see above the bar, you can drink. So I had been introduced to that at such a young age, and had been, but also introduced to it in moderation. So I had my first drink, or not my first drink, but I would drink with my parents. I would go out with them to jazz bars, and we just have a nice night. It was just a chill kind of feel. But I feel in America, because first of all, the drinking age is so high, and second of all, the way that we view alcohol in this culture is very heathenistic. You don't do it, or it's not as accepted in the way that we do it today. So when kids come to college, sometimes it's the first time they've had a sip of beer, and they go crazy because they don't know, their limit.
And one thing that was also hard to find was, because we have this type of fermented milk, which we call sour milk, but then it's really hard to find here. I just have to get the regular milk and then just wait for it to
Unexpected social challenge that I had was the drinking age. I knew it was 21 here and it's 18 at home, but I didn't think that's going to be such a big problem because I don't drink all that often. But I had people go out and be social and drink and have fun at home, but they don't drink a lot. They'll have a drink at dinner maybe, but you can't do that here, So I would go out with my friends to dinner, but I couldn't get anything to drink alcohol-wise, and that was super annoying, and it was much harder than I thought it was going to be. So I'd be oh, I can go home at Christmas and drink then, but those couple months in between them were way harder than I thought they were going to be.